The Tell-Tale Heart is one of Edgar Allan Poe's most famous short stories, first published in the year 1843. The Tell-Tale Heart remains a powerful example of Gothic fiction and psychological horror, showcasing Poe's ability to create intense and haunting stories. The narrator lives with an old man who has a pale blue eye, describing as resembling that of a vulture. These eyes become the source of the narrator's obsession and growing hatred. The narrator is quick to clarify that he loves the old man and has no personal anger towards him. His motivation for murder is solely the old man's eye which haunts him. To rid himself of the eye, the narrator devises a meticulous plan to kill the old man. Each night at midnight, he stealthily opens the old man's bedroom door and peers inside with a lantern, careful not to wake him. This ritual continues for 7 nights, with the old man sleeping peacefully each time, his eye closed and thus not provoking the narrator. On the 8th night, the narrator feels particularly confident and takes great care in opening the door. This time the old man awakens, sensing someone in the room. The narrator remains still for an hour, waiting in the dark as both he and the old man are paralyzed by fear. Eventually, the narrator slowly opens the lantern, casting a narrow beam of light on the old man's eye. Seeing the eye open and staring at him, the narrator is filled with rage. Overcome by the sight of the eye, the narrator leaps into the room and smothers the old man with his own bed. The old man lets out a single shriek before dying. After confirming the old man's death, the narrator dismembers the body, carefully cutting off the head, arms, and legs. He then hides the pieces beneath the floorboards, ensuring that there is no trace of the crime. Around 4 a.m., after the narrator has finished cleaning up, there is a knock at the door. 3 police officers have arrived, having been alerted by a neighbor who heard the old man scream. The narrator is confident and calm, explaining that the scream was his own, caused by a nightmare, and that the old man is away in the country. He even invites the officers to sit and rest, placing chairs directly above the hidden body. As the officers chat casually, the narrator begins to hear a faint rhythmic noise. He becomes increasingly agitated as the sound grows louder and more persistent, resembling the ticking of a watch. He realizes the sound is the beating of the old man's heart, which only he can hear. The narrator's guilt and paranoia intensify, and he becomes convinced that the officers must also hear the noise but are mocking him by pretending not to notice. Unable to endure the sound any longer, the narrator's composure breaks. In a frenzy, he confesses to the murder, shrieking that he is indeed guilty and revealing the hidden body parts under the floorboards, believing the incessant heartbeats to be an undeniable proof of his crime. Here ends the story.